I've been backpacking alone for years, long enough to get comfortable choosing my own path through the mountains instead of following blazed trails. Last fall, in the Monongahela backcountry, that confidence nearly got me into serious trouble. It was early afternoon when I reached a ravine not huge, but steep enough that a fall would break bones. A thick, ancient log had fallen perfectly across it, weathered bark, wide enough to act like a crude footbridge if you trusted it. After studying it for a minute, I decided it would hold. Crossing made my heart pound, but I slipped across without incident. And then a dull, rhythmic crack echoed behind me. An older guy had stepped out of the tree line, camo coat, tangled beard, and a full-sized axe. Without acknowledging me, he began bearing that axe into the very log I had just crossed. Splinters flew. The trunk shuddered. I yelped, begged him to stop, told him I was still out here. He didn't look up, didn't even pause. A few more swings, and the log shifted like it was ready to collapse. Finally, I asked why he was doing it. He stopped, lifted his head slowly. His eyes looked bruised and hollow, like he hadn't slept in years. "That's not my worry," he said, completely flat, completely sure of himself. He stared a long moment, then added, quieter, "These woods aren't friendly to people who don't belong." Something in the way he said it didn't sound like a threat, more like a warning. I was too dumb to have noticed sooner. Then he hoisted the axe and disappeared into the brush. The log was still technically intact, but now one end was cracked and drooping. No chance I was crossing back. My phone had no signal. With daylight fading, I followed the ravine, hoping for a safer route, but the cliffs only grew higher. Then came the campsite. Carved trees, bone trinkets, rusted tools placed in strange patterns. The kind of place you turn around at without thinking. And that's when I started hearing movement, slow, patient footsteps that paused whenever I did. Eventually, I spotted figures shifting between the trees, more than one. When they realized I'd seen them, they rushed me, screaming like they wanted me to panic. I ran. Gravity and terror did most of the work. When the ravine narrowed, I found another fallen log, skinny, slippery, and sprinted across it without checking if it would hold. The three figures stopped at the edge. One stepped forward, gripping a pipe or club. Instead of crossing, he just growled, "Leave. Don't come back." I didn't argue. I ran until I found the trail again, and I've never gone off trail in that forest since. I was deep in northern Minnesota, where the forest swallows the sky if you wander far enough from the path. I'd done it countless times, but this time the compass in my head failed me. Before long, something began shadowing me from behind. Soft footfalls, pausing when I paused, resuming when I moved. When I finally turned, I was surrounded wolves, a whole pack. They were silent, except for low growls, and they watched me with the stillness of hunters deciding how much effort a meal was worth. Then all of them snapped their heads toward a single direction and bolted, its full sprint. Terrified, that scared me more than their teeth ever could. The woods went dead silent, the air itself felt wrong, and I realized the thing that scared wolves was now between me and home. I chose forward only because backward felt worse. The clearing I found was wrong. Trees slashed with markings. There weren't letters, but symbols. Little bone charms hanging from branches. A stone structure in the center like a fire pit, except nothing had burned there recently. And hovering above ground level, a dense black haze, motionless like smoke trapped inside invisible glass. Looking directly at it made me feel like I was viewing the world from somewhere else, a grief I hadn't. Earned tightening in my chest. I should have run the moment I saw it. But it took minutes for my body to obey the rising panic. Then my memory fractures like someone cut the film. One moment I was staring at the haze. The next it was dark and I was stumbling toward my car, shaking, freezing, and drenched in sweat. Hi, Don't know how many hours are missing. I don't know what I ran from. And sometimes, the part that scares me most is that my brain refuses to remember. When we were fresh out of high school, camping in unfamiliar places felt like freedom. The four of us drove to the Ozarks for a long weekend waterfalls, fishing, the whole scenic package. My dad insisted we take a handgun, just in case. The first day, a stranger watched us from the trees, still and quiet until we caught him staring. He vanished the moment we yelled. Later, a towering woman, almost unnaturally tall, appeared behind us on the trail, just observing. When we warned her off, she turned around silently and walked away with jerky, too long strides. We tried to laugh it off. Maybe meth addicts, maybe harmless. That night, someone laughed outside our tents, too close, too loud. I fired 2 shots upward, and the laughter stopped with frantic steps, retreating into the dark. We packed closer together. One person kept watch while the rest tried to sleep. We considered leaving, but stubbornness won out. We moved camp further from the falls. The second night, I stepped out to pee, and my flashlight caught movement. That same man from before, machete in hand, sprinting at me. Thinked, fired, before thought I emptied the gun toward him, and he crashed to the ground, howling. We didn't wait to see if he stayed down, grabbed everything portable and ran through the dark toward the nearest parking area. We slept in the cars with the doors locked and drove home first thing at sunrise. We never called the cops. Sometimes I wonder whether that machete-wielding guy survived. Sometimes I wonder if that even matters, because someone like him wasn't alone out there.